how I overcame my own food addictions. I overcame my own food addictions by, first of all, understanding that I was addicted to certain foods that I enjoyed, that I liked a lot, right? That's the first thing, is understanding that you are addicted to a certain food or certain foods, and understanding what those foods are. But one thing I want to share with you is, which I didn't know, is that I didn't know that it was not just my own thing as far as me just wanting to eat these foods. These foods are designed for you to become addicted to them. They are designed for you to become addicted to them. They are constructed and made in a way, and then they're marketed in a way for you to create the addiction. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of times foods are marketed in ways that they're paired up with certain behaviors or social activities in life. And we assign foods to certain things that we do in life. Right? We assign foods to certain things that we do in life. Like, I remember every time I would sit down and watch TV, I would look for a bag of chips. I would have to have me a bag of chips or something like that. Like, so I'm associating a behavior with a food. Like, if I do this, I gotta have this to eat. And then when you do that, you're starting to create addictive behaviors with that food, because now you'll start to eat those chips outside of TV time. So these are like triggers, right? So we gotta look at what triggers me to eat certain things. Like if I'm watching a movie, again, same thing with TV. I don't just watch TV. I just eat like a show, movie. I gotta have something. So that's a trigger for me. I gotta have some popcorn or some chips or whatever. You know, that's a trigger. So a lot of times our triggers and our behaviors that we have, or our social activities, they may trigger a certain kind of desire to eat certain kind of food. But also the foods that are produced today, like I was saying before, they're designed to have some level of addictive quality to it from the ingredients that are in them. They're made that way. It's to the benefit of the food company to make you addictive to it, so that they continue to make profit off of the purchase, off of your addiction. I mean, that's just, you know, basic. So how I got rid of it was, I began, first of all, like I said, I understood, okay, I'm eating too much of this, and you know, I don't want to eat too much of this stuff. I first had to realize and recognize what I wanted for myself. I had to recognize that, hey, I don't want, because I began to see, like, I was never overweight, right? But I began to see a physique that I didn't like, per se. And so I was like, I think I need to slow down on certain things and change certain things. I used to love those Entenmann's cheese buns. I used to love those Entenmann's cheese buns. I tell you, when I was a little younger, and my brothers and sisters would say, you know, if you don't, because I was teaching, I was working out, and I was teaching at the time. I was like in my 20s. I wasn't that young. I was in my 20s, early 20s. And they would say, boy, if you stop working out, you gonna blow up, because you eat all these Entenmann's. I just love me some Entenmann's and milk. I'll eat a whole box of them bad boy. Entenmann's and milk. But guess what? Playing video games. That's when I would eat them. or I would do Oreos and cookies. So I had like, I had things that I liked, but I realized that it was like, I loved them. Like I was addicted to them. Always get those M&M's cheese buns. So I came off of that. But just coming off of that, what helped me was just understanding that I need to stop and slow this down. And then fasting from sugar, right? Just putting myself on certain fasts, like learning how to fast was a big part of helping me with the food or the sugar addiction. It's pretty much it's a sugar addiction. It's not if it's a food addiction, because food can be comprised of different things, but it's more of a sugar carbohydrate addiction. Most of us are addicted from carbohydrates, not fats. We're not addicted to fats. We're just not. Or protein. It's more sugar and carbohydrate. So when you fast, you begin, and then you work on your mental, and you work on and you're being intentional about removing behaviors or changing behaviors and realigning associations with different food. Then you begin to break those chains of some of those addictions, because fasting from the sugar will help you cleanse your palate. It will help you cleanse your palate from those things that you were weak with and wanted and desired. Those types of sugary foods. Right? So I fasted. I learned how to fast, I got better with fasting, I gained more control. And then at that point, when I gained more control, I realized that I had the ability to, I think a part of the addiction is to know that, or part of overcoming the addiction, for food anyway, just for food. I think for drugs or alcohol, I think it's something different. I think stuff like that, you should really just like abandon completely. But when it comes to food, yes, they say, well, sugar is it's like drugs. It is a drug. But sugar is a natural sugar is natural. Natural sugar is natural. But there's some sugars that are made as a drug to become addictive purposefully. So I think, you want to stay away from that as much as possible. But I think what helped me overcome my addiction to not become a slave to it is that I put it in my mind in a way where, hey, I can control now what I can have, and I don't have to abandon everything. But when I do, when I'm in my environment is controlled with things that are not addictive. My environment is controlled by things where my environment allows foods in my space that are healthy for me, that remove addiction, where I'm eating healthy, vegetables and fruits and lean meats, whatever, fish, chicken. My environment, mostly, fish mostly, but my environment is built around foods that are feeding me health. And if I'm out and if I'm about and if I come across something that is sweet or whatever, then I don't have an issue with indulging in it, because the majority of my space and my food environment and my own world are foods that feed me health. So for me, I got away from my addiction, one, by fasting, mentally preparing myself to dissociate myself with those types of foods during fasting, and being realistic about my environment and different spaces I may go into where there might be foods that are that have sugar or might be sweet, and I don't deprive myself. I just control myself. I don't deprive myself. I just control myself. That's pretty much. And then over time, I got stronger and stronger and stronger. Now I don't need any of it. So you can do the same thing.